So I just wanted to tell you guys a little quick story about this time last year. So if I'm being honest, this time last year, I thought that I might implode. But actually, there was a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot of stuff, happening all at once. It is honestly no wonder that I had such a hard time speaking my mind, saying what I wanted to say, communicating in general. So I talked about this a little bit in my most recent reel, about how it's so important to say what you really actually want to say. This was so hard for me last year, and I'm going to tell you why. So my brain was filled with too many voices, too many thoughts, ideas, opinions for me to think straight, let alone communicate my thoughts with other people. So in hindsight, one of the biggest issues that I was seeking answers from a million people about a million things. But I was so overwhelmed by everyone else's opinions, everyone else's voices, that I ended up just doing nothing except for ask for more advice. Can you relate? If so, you're going to want to stick around, because I'm going to let you guys in on the one thing I did that changed everything and finally left me in a clear headspace. So this was a vicious cycle. I was constantly asking for help, asking for advice, not taking it, only to ask for more advice, only to listen to more coaches, only to seek more podcasts, only to continue looking outside of myself for advice, just to not take action and take more advice. So the only thing that finally changed, or the only way that it finally changed, was when I decided it was time to make a change. Because the way that I was doing things was not working. So what did I do? I stopped asking for advice. I stopped looking outside of myself for the answers that I wanted or that I needed. And much to my friend's relief, I also stopped giving advice unless someone specifically asked for it, and unless I was actually in a headspace to provide said advice. And that's when I began to go inward. I began searching my soul for answers that I had been relentlessly searching for outside of myself. That's when I began to find real answers, the ones that I had all but given up on finding. I began to feel all of the puzzle pieces clicking into place one by one, all right? It was like magic. Suddenly the constant buzz that I thought was a migraine, but was actually a raging mental dumpster fire, more on that later, went quiet. The absolute chaos of everyone else's opinions in my brain was no longer a distraction for me. The annoying, mean voice in my head started to get fainter. You know, the one that was telling me to quit building a business, to stop trying to get in shape, that other people found me annoying, the voice that told me that I had to accept that I had peaked in life, that nothing was going to improve, etc. All these mean things that this horrible voice was telling me started to get fainter. And I started to hear this other voice. This other voice was getting louder and louder. This new voice was saying, Steph, you got this. You're doing amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep going inward. It is all falling into place. And the more I went inward, the more I trusted myself and my own opinion and my own decisions. The more I went inward, the less I felt the need to ask others to weigh in. And the more I realized that I knew exactly what to do. Right? The more I realized that I already knew what I needed, in terms of information and making decisions, the more I realized that so did everyone else, right? So I was no longer, not only was I not seeking advice from other people, I also wasn't so worried about giving advice to other people. I wasn't worried about proving myself. I was simply focused on just being present, right? On just trusting myself to make decisions for myself and trusting everyone else to make decisions for themselves. So why am I sharing all of this with you? Well, because as a fellow introvert, I understand what it's like to have a million thoughts running through that beautiful mind of yours. And so in the coming days, I'm actually going to grant you guys access to an incredible resource that I have been working on behind the scenes to help you quiet all the noise in that beautiful brain of yours so that you can actually hear yourself think. So that you can actually trust yourself to make sound decisions. How does that sound for you? Let me know in the comments. And in the meantime, I want to leave you with one final food for thought. And this is really important. I want you to ask yourself these questions and be honest. Are you allowing other people's voices, opinions, problems to take priority over your own? And what would happen if instead of asking someone else their opinion today, you asked yourself? What if you asked yourself instead, what do I need to do? What is the best course of action? Can you trust that whatever your answer is, whatever it may be, it's the right one for you? So let me know in the comments. Do you experience racing thoughts? Do you experience your brain in overdrive? Do you listen to other people's opinions more than your own? Do you prioritize other people's problems and trying to solve other people's problems for them over trying to figure out your own shit? Let me know. And be sure to hop inside the community for introverts so you don't miss out on the incredible exclusive resource that's dropping in there later this week. All right, cool. See ya.